Hey there, how are you? Thank you for joining me. This is Gabriel Visiontoon Lamette here, and I'm so excited that you decided to join me for this, and there's a big reason for it. With this particular video, it's going to be a bit of a hybrid of a spotlight mixed with the Tomorrow's Not Promise challenge that I've been doing since the beginning of this channel. It's really going to be within the mindset because next week, I will be focusing on topics and things regarding children and youth. So that's going to mean that my Motivated Monday segment will be on the topic of dealing and working with children and youth. Wellness Wednesday will be touching on children and health. And then for the Spotlight Saturday segment for next week, I'll be spotlighting actually a youth for the first time. And so it's going to be a lot different than what I've done in the past, but different is good as far as I'm concerned. So I'm really excited and ready to get into this video. So here we go. The first person I'm going to be looking to spotlight is going to be from my actual childhood. And what I mean by that would be the elementary years all the way into my junior high years. And it was some of the best time that I can actually reminisce upon. This would be during the time that I was a camper at Camp Wynola. And Camp Wynola at that time was under the direction and leadership of a person named Steve Gannon. Steve Gannon was the camp director there, and he always had such an amazing, welcoming spirit and heart to him. The level of accountability to his call in working with kids within a camp environment, I would say is something that I actually can focus on as an example piece for what I currently do as being the camp manager here. And it was always amazing being able to see him doing his thing. He had a wonderful sense of humor, a really smart guy, and he was just always willing to get himself in there. He was not a leader there at the camp that just pointed people in directions and told them what to do. He actually led by example. Generally in the morning, he was the first person I would see, and then generally at night, he was the last person I would see. This guy would grind and put in 12 hours days if that's what it took to make sure that the day was successful and good. And so it was great to be able to not just be a camper and learn all types of things regarding camp from him, but then I was able to become a counselor and then later became a program director for the Inner City Week that was provided there at Camp Wynola. One of the things that I would have to say, if I'm going to say that it was great to be able to call him someone that was like a mentor and friend to me, was the amazing team he had around him. And people that automatically come to mind would be, for instance, Patty, there will also be Keith, and then there will be Andy, and those are people that I still am able to see, watch, and kind of follow online, and have been able to keep a bit of an online relationship with through the years. But he had a great team of people who absolutely cared about the kids that were coming in there. And for me going to camp as a kid, it was the opportunity for me to be able to escape a lot of the hard knocks life that I was dealing with being in the inner city of California. And having those people that were there to not just be my friend, but to be counselors in every shape, form, and fashion, and people who just weren't afraid to love me the way I needed to be loved. That entire nucleus of team was just absolutely amazing, and it came from having someone as special and as awesome as Steve Gannon. The next years that I want to focus on would be my junior high leading into high school years and the very influential people who were in my life at that time. The person that really would come to mind, and there's really and truly several. And so I know that before I spoke and did a segment talking about Louis Malini, he was actually the first person that I kicked off my my Tomorrow's Not Promise challenge feature, but I want to go a little bit further and deeper. And it would be when I was a youth and I was a part of a church at that time, and there was a youth leader there, and his name is Craig Thomas. Now, Craig Thomas, I thought he was the most awesome guy ever. First of all, this dude had way more energy than I think I did that time. I remember going to the church and this dude would be dancing, he'd be jumping, getting it, going hard, and he was just always a good dude to be able to talk to. He would have those conversations with me that I feel is important for a young man to be able to have with someone who has gone through a lot, experienced a lot, and they're not going to candy coat what it's going to take to make better decisions in life. And that's the type of individual that Craig was for me. He would take a lot of time. He would be driving us home. I would never forget. We would go to our youth group, and then he would help drive everybody home. He would be making sure that people were able to get to their destinations, and it really put a respect level out there to me for what he was able to do, because not only was he there working with us as youth, but he was putting in a lot of time, late nights, making sure that we were cool. Our parents loved him and they trusted his capabilities, and it was just an amazing, amazing relationships to be able to say that I had to have somebody like Craig in my life. One of the things that definitely comes to mind is, again, the team that was also with him. There's another guy, his name was Stefan, really awesome guy, and I love the fact that he would always give for us really the street approach, because we all grew up in the streets, and he would also tell us a lot of things that were very important, and he would not candy coat that either. And so it was really good just to have people surrounding me that really and truly touched on different parts of my life, and they helped keep me straight and helped keep me in order. Now, someone else that I don't want to forget within this would also be the person that I first started in that youth group with, and his name was Reggie Swift. And I remember he would be driving us around to make sure that we got to youth group. It would be myself, my little brother, and then a couple of friends, Donald and David. And he would also take that time with us, and it took men who were dedicated and who were inspired to help young guys like me. And I just want to tell all of you guys, thank you so much. And again, Craig, I love you so much, brother, and I hope we get a chance to connect very soon. For the last portion of this spotlight that I would like to focus on would be during the time that I was finishing up college and I was looking for employment for doing graphic design and marketing. And the school that I went to, you know, they had their program in place, and they even had resources for you to be able to look for employment after you were done graduating. And I remember I was putting all of my information out there, and nobody seemed like they were interested in hiring me. And I remember reaching that point where I was like, wow, I've gone through college, and now what's next? I don't know what else to do. It's kind of like the segment that we went through with Rosemary, and us trying to, you know, she's saying that I'm trying to figure out what the next move is, but I'm going to be along for the ride. I was literally at that point because I had a plan in place, and it didn't seem like it was getting ready to happen. And so it was so great that fortunately I was given an opportunity to actually provide graphic design for the church that I was a part of. Now, the church that I was a part of, it was a pretty huge ministry. They did a lot of worldwide outreach in lots of different ways. They had jail ministries, they had youth ministries, all those different things. And so I knew that even if I was going to be a part of the team for the ministry there at the church, it was going to draw and pull a whole lot out of me. And I was nervous, but I was definitely going to meet this challenge head on if the opportunity was presenting itself. Now, the person that really, really deserves a spotlight within this is the person that they actually put me in the same office as, and her name is Denise Schenkel. Denise Schenkel for me became someone that I could rely on as a support system. She would challenge my creativity, design. She would give me her opinion on the things that I was doing. And she became almost like an auntie to me. She would, if I was tripping, she would check me. Definitely she would check me. And she just became a support system and someone that I looked forward to going in the office to be with every single day, because she was that special. She didn't have to take the time to, first of all, embrace me the way that she did, or to help guide me as a young man as she did. It was really great to have someone who was willing to kind of help shape and mold me from a woman's standpoint of view, who wasn't just like my mom. And so it was great to be able to see her being a support system and someone who was willing to challenge and nurture my gift. And if I'm going to mention her within that realm of things, I do have to also say someone like Margie Waldo. I remember when I was doing my first design for an album, and it was for the album that our church was putting out, and she was working alongside with me on that project, and that was my first time really working with someone that I looked at as someone from the industry. And so Margie Waldo was a really good she was a good inspiration and someone that really gave me some key pointers on what it was going to take to sharpen my skills. And then I also have to give props and love to some music industry individuals who also helped me at that time, Buster and Shivani. If you don't know them, look them up. They've got tracks that have hit the market in all kinds of ways, and working on that first major project actually was with them and me working hand in hand with them, and it gave us a great relationship, which also led to more things being done for them personally. And so it starts out with me just wanting to say thank you to Denise Shankle, but I also want to say thank you to Margie Waldo as well as Buster and Shivani, because I appreciate and love you guys all for what you were able to do for my graphic design career. Thank you. So that does it for me for this Spotlight Saturday segment for this week. Again, I want to thank you guys all for joining me for this video, because I do put a lot of time and work into these things, because it is something that's a passion of mine. I have to do it around my work schedule, family schedule, everything I have going on. But you guys checking these videos out makes it so well worth it to me, and I don't plan on stopping doing what I'm doing. Actually, before I stop this video though, I do want to say again, make sure that you hit a like on this video as well as you subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to keep these positive videos coming. I feel like it's not only beneficial for those who view it, but it's also beneficial for me being able to get my heart out to everyone. So again, thank you for joining me. Make sure you tune in for next week, because again, we will be spotlighting things regarding children in different aspects. Plus next week's spotlight, you don't want to miss it, because it will be featuring a youth, and I think that you're going to really enjoy it. So thank you guys again for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.